Thomas.
Thomas is going to be okay, though, Dale. He sent some work in last night, and it's good work.
Good. Now, Thomas is doing an audit as well. We've already taken his money as well. He's a returner. And so we're just having him do an audit as well. And so, but he seems like he's going to be on the ball.
He is. He's going to be okay.
Yeah. And we've worked out, we only had one from last semester. Yay. We only had one that didn't finish her portfolio last semester. Sharon Brigman. And we've got Sharon, we've worked out a deal with the graduate school where she's going to be signed up for 1 hour of $6.97 or $6.99, excuse me, and 2 hours of $6.98, so she can continue to be in the program. So we've got that worked out today. Sydney approved that, Dr. Brown, so thanks to her. So we got that one worked out today. And so Sharon's going to be able to continue. And so, Danny, who did I give her to?
Me.
It was yours. You're welcome.
I know it.
She was yours.
Yeah. I was at her school Friday, but I didn't see her because I have a new student, and I didn't want to I didn't need to see her on Friday.
All right. Well, she's back in now. We got her taken care of today.
Dale, how about Krista Carter?
Krista is, she's a holdover from spring.
Right.
And she didn't sign up. I've sent her an email.
Okay.
Bye, Dr. Bull. Yeah, she said she was going to come back in the fall, but I haven't heard anything from her. And so
she didn't do anything in the fall.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. She didn't show back up.
Right.
And so let me write that down. I need to follow up. I've already followed up one time with her. And so I'll follow up with her again.
And Phyllis Hardy, do we want to talk about her?
Pauline,
I'm sorry. Hardy.
Well, if you can find her, I was supposed to go visit her today, and she tells stories. I was supposed to go see her today in Raleigh, and she told me that I was supposed to come on Friday, and I had to go find my email where she said that I could come today, and now she won't return a call to me or anything. So.
Well, that's what she does to us, and her mailbox and her voicemail box has been full all semester. And I've called the school. They've left a message for her. She doesn't return calls. I email and email and email, and there's no response.
Yeah. I waited all day long to hear from her. I was going to go tomorrow, and I'm not going because I can't hear from her.
Well, I don't think you'll hear from her. I don't know what's going on, but.
Well, the last time that she went off the rails, she had a grandbaby unexpectedly.
Well, I'd say she needs to have the baby herself to be as off the rail as she's been.
You have to know this one. She's to say that she's high strung is to say that I'm follically challenged. That's somewhat of an understatement. She is.
She will occasionally answer an email, but it seems to be on her terms.
It's just out. But even then, it's about half the time it makes no sense.
Correct.
And
that
so
would be correct.
I went twice and visited her at her school site, and I can tell you, I just don't know what we're going to be able to do with her. We're just going to try. That's all I know. But so she's going to be with that group. She's where she is, and we're going, we'll try to coach her up and do the best we can. But now, I suspect it won't go any better this time than it did last time.
So do we know does she owe the APTEL, and then is she supposed to do the OMA this time?
That's what you said, Dale.
She has finished the APSEL and the APTEL, and she got a very generous 3. I think Rod gave her a 3. He's a kind man.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So blame him.
Yeah, blame me. I'm used to it.
Yeah, that was a generous 3 on both of them. I went back and looked at her work. It needed to be in color and crayon, I'm telling you. it was close. And Rod, but I don't know if Rod remembers, but he and I talked about it. I mean, it was the best she could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was seriously the best that she could do. And if you ever meet her in person, you'll know what I'm talking about. Seriously, it's the best she can do. And so, but you know, it's our responsibility to work with her. But she is where she needs to be. She's to the OMA, but you know, the OMA may be a hill too far for
Okay.
her.
All right.
This may be the end of the line, because I'm telling you, it was a yeoman's effort to get her through the first two. And so, but that's where we are with her. Anybody else think any other that I'm missing here? I think that's pretty much it in terms of, you know, the abnormals that we have to try to work with. We've got a few old hangers on that I'll try to round back up. But, you know, if they don't make the effort to at least try to re-enroll or register, I mean, they continue to be the bane of my existence as they keep popping up. But at least if they pop up on their own, but if I have to go hunt them down, they feel like that, you know, they want a deal to come back. I'm not offering deals.
No, Dale, we got Jacqueline Britt. Remember, I'm dealing with her too.
Yeah, we got her back, so we've got her handled.
Good luck there.
Yeah, I know. That's another one of them, but I know.
Yeah, but you did get that straight with her email and everything, because you and I talked last week.
Yep.
She's been communicating. I'm trying to get an action plan together for her. I'm going to meet with her and Altavis at the same time, because it appears that both of them are going to need the very same direction.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, Dale, you got one other, a Matthew Crummy.
Yeah, Matt. He's down at
Central High School. I met with him today. He's talking about that he's actually had turned some stuff in that never got evaluated way back.
No, he didn't turn it in. I know what he's talking about. It got sent back for a revision. He has memory problems. It didn't get evaluated because it got sent back for revision.
Okay.
And I'm the one that sent it back. And I gave him copious notes as to why it was sent back. It wasn't over the quality. He just didn't have the stuff there.
Right.
Matt turned in stuff like, you know, that should have been 8 or 10 pages, was 1 or 2.
Right.
I wrote him copious notes. I mean, I didn't kick on the quality of it, but if it's not there, we can't grade it.
Right.
I mean, he turned in partial work expecting a full grade, and I keep trying to explain to him that you can't put partial work in task string.
Well, he caught me off guard when he told me everything that he supposedly had done, and I just told him he just needs to task string and so forth, and get back with you on what he's got.
No, I can actually show you what we're talking about here, Rod. I know, and you'll see.
I will tell you this: if there's a good chance he probably won't finish then, because he thinks he's done most of it.
No, he's not. That's just it. And I went and had this critical conversation with him. I actually was at his school the time that had that sleet storm out there, and the egg truck turned over and blocked the road going into Greenville for a day. I was 2 cars in front of the egg truck, thank goodness, and got to Greenville and thought, well, how lucky am I till I got to Greenville and had to stay there for 3 days. And I thought, man, I could have turned around and went back to civilization.
Women, I had an eastern part of North Carolina now. Be careful.
I love it. I love the eastern part of North Carolina. I really do. But I'm talking about, I had to stay in the hotel for 3 days.
Yeah.
It got iced. Remember when it got iced over? It's been, 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything iced over. You couldn't go anywhere. And so, I mean, I like Greenville, but I couldn't go anywhere in Greenville. I just had to sit in the hotel for 3 days. I wouldn't want to have to sit in the hotel for 3 days in Vegas, much less Greenville. So let me see. Let's look at him. This is a good thing to do. I'll have to find him. Okay, he's a fall 14. He's inactive, but I think I can pull him up anyway. Let me see. Fall 14. There. Let's see if I can get him. Any time period. Let's see if I'll make it come up. No, don't do me that way. Fall 14. Let me see.
The inactive as well.
Let me see if I can go in and do something different here and get him to come up.
There is a place at the bottom that says.
Or inactive. Do that.
Right there. Yeah.
Let me try that one too.
I think that'll do it.
See if it'll bring it up.
It will.
All right. So you see right here, he did the first 3 tasks, and then he's got 2 callbacks on the app sale. So he's only done 3, so he owes me 2 more plus the final. And if you look at the history, you'll see that I'm the one that sent it back and gave him comments.
Needs revision.
See, his evaluator turned it over to me. When she rejected it, I went back in and left him comments on everything that she sent back. You have reflected, but you have not. He didn't include his process journal. You know, I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about here. He didn't include his process journal. It's not there we can't grade it because it's not there. Let's see on the next one what he's missing. He didn't have his graphic, or he didn't summarize, didn't have his graphic organizer. He basically didn't do his action plan. He wrote a little narrative about a page long and didn't have all the bullets in it right here that you're supposed to have. You can see he's supposed to have all these things. He just wrote, we're going to do a plan. Didn't have anything about what he's going to do. Didn't have anything in it. I mean, and so Denise said, I can't even grade this. I can't even give him anything but a 0. I said, okay, just send it back and I'll go in and put comments on what he, and so you can see that's where he is on the app sale. Nothing on the app tail. The skip, he turned in 2 and both of them got sent back because, again, he didn't have anything there. Let's see why that was sent back. Again, you can see I wrote the comments myself. Should have more than 1 short-term goal. He didn't have any long-term goals. He did 1 short-term, no long-term goal. Well, that's not gradable. You got to have at least 1 of each for it to be graded. I mean, that's what we're talking about with him.
Right.
I should see he didn't do his analysis and recommendations on the next one. And that's what was due at the end of it. He left off his recommendation section. I mean, every time it got to where here's the stuff you're supposed to do for this task, he hadn't done it.
Well, we went over the rubric and everything, but today, I couldn't see. I didn't know what he had done and what he hadn't done. So I couldn't give him a whole lot of comments.
He's put some stuff in, looks like, for comments, but he didn't put anything in. He didn't put anything in for evaluation on the OMA. He's done nothing on the CAP, and he's done nothing on the SOP. Well, he's done 1 callback on the SOP, 2 callback on the CAP. You can see everything that he's put in has been called back because it was incomplete. I like Matt, but
still got to work.
His work's not close.
Yeah, he still got to do his work.
He's still got to do his work. I mean, his stuff is not close.
Right.
I mean, everything he turned in, there was no there. Mm-hmm. Everything. And some of it's still in comments. And see, when the comments were, this is not ready, you got to do X, Y, and Z, he just left it in comments. But see, what his contention is, I've uploaded about everything. Well, but none of it's been graded as being acceptable.
Oh. It's got to be good. Oh.
You didn't tell me that part.
Right.
I know.
It is your fault after all.
I know. What a terrible person I am. All right. So I met with the town hall folks last week. I did an edited version for you. I tried to keep it under 15. I think I brought it right in at 14 minutes. But it was mostly for you folks, the edited version. And I just covered this document. I sent this document to you as well. Reminds everybody what everybody's job is. Reminds you where everybody is, what everybody's due according to what program they're in and what semester. So if you have any questions, that should be it. The only other thing that I wanted to say tonight is we need to be sure that in our classes, that when we open up every week, when we open up our classes, we take 5 minutes to do a quick review of the assignments due that week and what's due for the evidence artifacts. Even if your coach is going to cover that, make sure that you mention that to them in that first 5 minutes when you're getting everything ready every week. Because one of the things that I get hit with when these returning people come back in is the university doesn't like to do free. And when I recommend audits, you know, their big deal is, you know, did somebody cover this with them in class? And I just tell them honestly, look, before 2017, it was hit and miss. Since then, yes, we cover it in class. We remind them every week what their responsibility is. And that's one of the big things that, you know, the folks up the hill are really big on. Make sure that, you know, these people know what their responsibilities are. That way we can charge them. If nothing else, we can charge them a small fee, because I got to get you people paid. We can't take these people coming back and do free. If we do free, then I can't get y'all paid. You know that we pay by the student on coaching, visiting, and evaluating. Everything in TaskStream is by the student. And if the student doesn't have to pay, y'all don't get paid. And as long as we have told them what their responsibilities are, we're golden. We can charge them, and nothing that we can charge an audit fee, we charge intern fee, we charge TaskStream fees. We can charge those. But if they can present an argument that nobody told me that I had to do this work, then we have to do free, and then free means free for y'all. And I want students to get what they paid for, and I don't want them to overpay or pay twice. But they've got to pay if we can. If somebody's going to work with them, we have to compensate you. I have to be able to get you on a load report. And speaking of that, so that's, again, make sure, even if you're going to turn it over to your coach later that evening or in their session, make sure you go over the weekly schedule with them on evidence artifacts, where they should be pacing wise. You don't have to do it yourself, but make sure you at least cover that with them, so that I'm covered. We can say, and I can say with a clear conscience, they were reminded of their responsibilities on a weekly basis. It's on them.
Dale, if we do a short video and say this week, this is what you were supposed to be doing, and put it on the weekly a page for that week, that should do it as well. That should do it.
And that's why I had you make that separate TaskStream evidence artifact timeline. That's exactly why I had you do that. Because the students, they won't say, well, they didn't cover the material. They won't say, I didn't get my classwork. What they'll say is, they didn't mention evidence artifacts in class, and I didn't know I was behind, or I didn't know I had to do that. And so I pulled it up. Let me find it here. Get out of my way. And I guess it went away. I'll have to pull it back up. And so what I'm referring to is, you should have one of these in each of your, and Barbara's exactly right. I like the idea of doing the short video and just posting it. But make sure that every week there's something that reminds them what they're supposed to be doing. But I like a weekly schedule with everything on it. But we also do a weekly schedule about where they should be with their evidence artifact, kind of a pacing guide. Look them up. Come on. There it is. And it tells them where they're supposed to be every week. And when we're going to have classes, and when we're going to have Zooms, and where you should be, what task you should be on, everything. I mean, it lays it all out. Once you have that, and then like Barbara said, you come on, do a short video, or you just, all you have to do is mention it. If you've got this, you don't have to spend your class time on the evidence artifacts. You need to, but you need to make sure that they know, hey, this is where you are this week. And then that covers us. Now, right on down the line here, I see my time's already up. We're having such a good time here. You notice you probably got some things. Seth started moving the 697 and 8s today so that your advisee list will be right for your load report for pay. I already had them right in your Blackboard shells, your intern shells. Already, I did those first week. But Seth's getting around to load reports this week, so don't be alarmed. We're just making sure that the what's in advisee or interns matches the load report, matches where they are with their classes. And to that end, my last document is this is the final spreadsheet for the spring. It has all the classes and the section numbers and who is teaching them and who will be paid for coaching them. And everybody in that room. The only exception is this 03 section that Dr. Sanders has. It does not have a coach. We were able to make one section there of all returning add-on students that are coming back to get their master's, takes 2 and 4. We made a whole section of them. They don't have to do anything in task string, so they don't need a coach. But they're all in one class, so they won't aggravate Dr. Sanders to death, being scattered in both of her classes. So we got one section with just the returnees in it. So that works out well.
Hey, Dale, can I mention something too?
Yeah.
Just as he mentioned, Seth is trying to do a lot of reports and turn those into payroll. So I sent all of you who are CC1 coaches today kind of an updated list, or the updated list as I have. So there's probably some errors in it, but I do need you to look at that if you are a coach and make any corrections. But I do need an email back from everyone so I can confirm this. I've got to turn it in to Seth on Friday. So look at that if you are a CC1 coach. And it really just basically lists the names of the folks that you are possibly visiting. So let me know. There's probably some errors in it. This is the first time I've done this. This is a bear. I can see why Dale wanted me to do it. But we'll get it right. But do have look at that, and everybody send me back a response. Thanks, Dale.
Thank you. Yes, we're trying to get all the load reports right so that you'll get paid the right amount of money on time. Seth sent an email and said, bear with him.
Where's Crawford?
At this point, he's just trying to get everybody in the right place. Don't get alarmed if you've been dropped or added to a section. He sent that to the students. I don't know if he copied y'all or not, but that's what's going on. We're getting everything in the right place for load reports so that we get the right money to the right people. And especially that the people coaching in 2 and 4 get paid. Seeing how that's
and that they will know they do not have Crawford. Those people are driving us crazy.
I know. Now I asked, I don't know if Jamal's with us or not. Let me see. No,
I don't think so.
But he
wasn't a while ago.
And so the deal is on that. I've asked him to stop sending through quickly, which sends to those interns, and so that should stop that problem. But they're going to be moved anyway. Seth moved most of them. I'll get all the notifications. He should be done. He just did another batch just a few minutes ago.
Well, I think what must have happened, I think he probably did a group email.
Quickly.
He hasn't removed those students' names from his group email, and they're getting his emails.
Yeah, quickly, he was sending out of 698 for quickly, and that's that problem is solved. If you stop sending the emails, and we've moved them today, so that will stop. But here it is, and so Stedman, let's see, go back up to the top here. Right now, the students that Dr. Stedman has in C6 and 8 are in my clinical shell, and I'll work with them until Drs. Hamilton and Shepard get through Blackboard. Dr. Hamilton, have you gotten in Blackboard yet? Have they started your modules?
She sent me the way to get into it on Friday. And my mother fell down the steps in Shelby and broke her collarbone. So I drove to Shelby and picked her up and brought her back last night. And I haven't gotten in there yet.
No, but you've gotten access. That's the biggie.
I think I have my access code now, so that's good.
It's coasting down the hill with your feet off the pedals from here.
That's right.
Good now. The
Good
trick
thing.
is getting you in. And so I hope John also hopes you sent him the same thing at the same time. So, you know, it's not a rush. The thing is just once they send it to you, because you got to work through all your modules. We'll get Dr. Stone to help you. He's the expert.
Great.
Right.
Thank you, Dr. Stone.
Oh, you're so welcome, but the expert part is a lie.
He went through it most recently. But no, we'll help you. If you need
Thank
me,
you.
seriously, I will be glad to coach you through that.
And I will
Thank
be
you.
more than glad to try to. Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Dr. Stone's been through it recently. I've been through it, so not recently, but my memory's not too bad. So since I do it every day, but we'll be glad to help you. I mean, don't be ashamed to ask. Those modules are tough, and so don't be ashamed to ask for help on that. But
And Robin, you can call me as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Stedman.
It's hard to get them. There's supposed to be somebody there to help you, but after 2 days, you don't get a response back. It gets kind of frustrating. It's not one of them things you can kind of dip your toe in. You know, you have to sit down for hours at a time. And if you need one of us, just call if you get hung up or get stuck. And the same goes for Dr. Shepard. We'll get you through.
Thank
All right.
you.
So Dr. Crawford made that. That's the reason I had to move those interns. I told you at faculty training on January 5th that I was concerned that they had a backlog of students that they hadn't registered that was going to blow up my schedule when all these additional classes made. Well, they made. So I had to move interns around because additional classes made. But they didn't make until Monday that school started. And we had a few students that dropped because they didn't get told that they were in the program until the day the program started. And they were a little nervous. So we lost 8 that first day, and then we've lost a couple more since then, but it's kind of stabilized now. But we did make 2 extra classes on the first day of classes, which is kind of, and well, actually we made 1 on Friday before and 2 on Monday. That's kind of aggravating, but it's okay. We were planning for those. So Stedman's got 2, Crawford's got 2. Jeff Church had already told me that he'd do 2 with Joey when that extra one made. This one made for Dr. Sanders, but thankfully it didn't need a coach. Dr. Laws and I, we made 2 cohorts in Charlotte of the EDCI doctorals, and I didn't employ a coach with them. I wanted to see how much work it was going to be. So I'm doing the coaching and doing 2 evidences for 24 of them. It's quite a lot of work. The only thing is I'll do the evaluation and task stream for them this time, but I'm already working to get that set up so that whoever coaches or teaches with them, I think they're going to need a coach as well. We'll see as the semester goes on. If these are doctoral, they're either in dissertation phase or already have their doctorate in curriculum instruction. And theoretically, they wouldn't need a coach. They're supposed to be smart enough to get through the program on their own. But, you know, that's on paper. And so that's, you know, we'll see. Right now, I'm leaning toward they're going to need a coach because they're pretty needy. So he and I are doing that. We've got 2 groups of them. We've got Dr. Todd's got 2. We made another one there, so she's got 2 there. Talent Whitaker, Zons, Robertson. We made an extra section of 602 on the first day. That's those 20 that came back that were add-ons that are doing the 2 and 4. That's what I was referring to. They blew up our numbers in 2 and 4. We had to add different additional sections for them, but those have settled down. So Malia didn't want to teach but 1, so Karen's covering the other. Sanders has got both of the 3s. We've got Wilson, Stone, and Sanders covering the 3 605 regulars that we've got this semester. So that's what the schedule looks like. That's the coaches. Again, you know, we can't finalize it until we get everybody registered. We didn't get everybody registered till Monday, the day classes started. So in the future, I'll see if I can remind the folks that are registering that you can't take a month off during December and expect to get done on time. You know, unless, you know, maybe they thought they could work faster than they could. I don't know. Maybe it was KTA, but we certainly went up against the last minute getting people in classes and forming sections. And so, but thankfully y'all are willing to work with me. We knew what we were going to eventually end up with, and we did. So it wasn't a big deal. The problem is if you don't plan ahead, then you get caught having to form 4 sections a day classes start and finding people for them. That's when it's not fun. So I think that's about it. Make sure you cover those evidence artifacts in class. Come online with them every week. Use your Zoom accounts. You know, the feedback's been very good. Students are happy. It seems like a really good group that we got doing this time. I'm pleased with what y'all do, and the feedback has been good. They seem to be happy campers. You know, that's important.
Dale, will you let me know which teacher that Tiffany is auditing so I can get the information from them to change her incomplete at the end of the semester?
Well, that's the question. Is do you want that? That's the question that we had, and I was going to pose it to you by email. My thought was to give her back to you, unless you'd rather me not do that.
No, I'm happy to keep her and keep dealing with her.
Well, that's what I mean. If you know what you got, we'll just put her back with your 601 class this semester.
See, I don't have a 601 this semester.
Well, see, that's right. You were going to have her in 3. All right.
Okay.
So we'll have to drop her back. We'll probably put her in whichever one of Dr. Crawford's classes has the least. We'll probably, because his have the lower numbers. He's got the 10 and 12.
Okay.
So she'll probably go in 12. I'll just go ahead and say now she'll be in 12 because that one has the lowest numbers. So I'll put her in Dr. Crawford's 12 section, C12.
And then he can just let me know from time to time how she's doing.
Well, Danny will be coaching her, so she'll be
okay.
Yeah. Dale,
yeah.
Do we need to invite Barbara and Jean on Thursday at 6 o'clock to join us, since they have those add-on students as well, 603, for that brief meeting that we're going to have with the 603 students on Thursday
What?
At 6 o'clock?
What?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. What we're going to do, Barbara and Jean, we're just going to go over some things with them about the OMA, and then just some task stream things. We haven't come online with just them as a group. It's not a town hall, but it's kind of like going to be in just about 30 minutes with them. Do you want me to send the link for you to send to your students as well, and they can join us, and we're just going to cover some basic things with them?
Please do.
Okay, I'll send it to you tonight then.
It'll be
Okay.
6 o'clock.
I'm going to remind
Maybe 6.
main things that I'm going to remind them of is don't reinvent the wheel.
Right.
It's not just a straight copy and paste from the AppTel, but you did the work in the AppTel in task 1, 2, and 3 that you're asked for in task 2 of the OMA. It's not just so much a copy and paste kind of thing, but it is in fact. But I don't want them out running doing another PLC or I want them to utilize what they've already done to get that task 2 together.
And we have discussed that with ours, and so they know that they're supposed to be using what they have.
Yes.
Just adding.
Otherwise, they'll never get finished.
Yeah, and then just
Adding
adding
some
on
other
to what's
things.
missing.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it. They have basically, that's a half a semester's work that they did in the AppTel that they're asked to do for task 2 of the OMA. There is no way that they can do that work again and get done any semblance. You know, we've identified that as where we fall off the bridge. And that's why I'm coming on specifically to address task 2. That's why I've waited till this week. Don't get hung up on task 2. They don't, or they'll never finish their requirements this semester. And this is where I lose them every semester is on task 2.
Well, I've started reviewing some of the work from the 603s, and it's coming through. And then I had I called it my office hours. Came on at 6 o'clock yesterday afternoon and just kept it open, and they just came in as they wanted to. Had some really great conversations with several of the students yesterday afternoon. So I'm going to be doing that every Sunday afternoon from 6 to whatever time I need to do it until. But they liked the concept, and it worked well yesterday.
Well, Sunday evening, I met with, I guess there were about 10 of Barbara's and my students, and we literally went through the descriptions for task 1, 2, and 3 of the APTL and talked about what they did and how it transfers and what they might need to add.
Yay!
The terminology.
That's
And
exactly.
then, I don't know if this is right, but I said when you get the whole thing done, add 4 paragraphs, one about each of those instructional
There you go.
things that is required, and that should get you over the hump.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's exactly right. I wish you
We're going full steam ahead on it.
Yeah, I wish you reported that so I wouldn't have to, but that's exactly it. It only takes about, we call it linking narrative. It just takes a couple sentences here and there of linking narrative and that work, and you can move on. But for some reason, they think they have to start all over again.
Well, that's why they were just absolutely going crazy. That's why I thought I've got to talk them through it to get them off the wall. They were all just about to jump off
every
the
semester.
river.
We blow up there every semester, and so I'll come online with them this Thursday night at 6. I'll come online and remind them some linking narrative. You've already done the work. This is, yes, this is a bear, but you've already done it. All you have to do is take tasks 1, 2, and 3, go through, take out the stuff that's not asked for, put a little linking narrative in, and it's a 2-hour project, and you're done, and you can move on.
And just make sure that you have the terminology for ESL and all those different, the exceptional child stuff. Just put it in there.
Yep, you got it. That's exactly what
I've been screaming. That's okay.
That it's just that you've got it. You just got to clean it up a little bit and present it in the way, and you're good to go. Don't let two, keep you from finishing. But if we don't do that, I'm telling you, we have the awfulest time trying to get them through this 603.
Well, that Pauline Hardy is the one that's going to be the problem because she doesn't have APTL stuff that's current.
Well,
and so I told her that she needed to just do what's in the rubric.
Yeah.
How can she? I mean, she's got to do the process.
But she did an APTL.
Well, she says she doesn't have anything that's anything like what we talked about. So I don't know. I don't have access to it yet.
If you'll remind me, if you'll send me an email, I'll go into task stream and I can download what she did and I'll send it to you and you can look at it.
Okay, good.
That'll be the best way to go with that.
Because she's screaming.
We can help Paul.
In fact, I'm supposed to be meeting with her tomorrow after Barbara's class to talk her through what she can do. So if I get that information, I can help her with it better. Yeah.
I don't know if I want anybody to see that or not. Oh, Lordy. I better hush before I say something that I'll regret saying while I'm being videoed.
It's okay.
Yeah. That'll be a time. Better you than me. I've done that with her. I've gone to her school and stayed hours at a time. And maybe it was just me.
I have to give it the royal try so I don't feel badly when she screws up.
You may get through to her.
The interesting thing, Dale, the first comments I'd made on the first thing I saw of her work is what I do with a lot of people. You need to get an English major to proofread, and you also need to look at APA as to how to write things. And she sent me an email back that said she had put lots of time into it and she was so discouraged over my comments. And so then I responded back, well, don't forget, Gardner-Webb has a writing center if you will contact them ahead of time and make an appointment. And you can do it online, because she was talking about how far away she was from Gardner-Webb. I said, you can do it online. You don't have to drive there. So I gathered that either my expectations are far different from hers, or it's going to be an entertaining process.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
we'll do the best we can.
We'll do the best we can with her, but I'm reminded of what my father told me years ago. He said, don't get in an argument with people who don't know too much. Somebody might come wandering by and not be able to tell you two apart. You both look like nitwits. And so it's kind of like, I've done my best with her, and I wasn't successful. I'll freely acknowledge that. But
my mother said,
expectations are not ours, and that's what I'm telling you.
Purse out of a thousand.
And like Matthew Crummy, we talked about, Matthew's expectation is that it's you write. He expects to read a chapter and write a 2-page paper, and that's what he thinks each of those tasks are. And you say, Matt, you've got to follow this rubric. You've got to turn in the stuff that it's. If it says you've got to turn in a process journal, we don't expect you to write about what a process journal is. We expect you to have a process journal. And poor old Matt, I mean, I'm just, he's another one. Well, you can see everything he turned in, it wasn't there. I mean, when it said to create an action plan or a marketing plan, he just talked about what a marketing plan is. I guess he Googled marketing plan. I'm not kidding. He just basically Googled marketing plan and wrote down what it told him that it was. No, Matt, you've got to produce one. You've got to do this work. Well, he said, but I'm just too busy. He had a side job and was coaching. He was trying to run a construction business and was coaching and was trying to teach all at the same time. And that's when I have those critical conversations, people. You got to make some choices. You have got to make some choices. Yeah, we're going to invite all 603s on Thursday, because it's important enough that I want everybody to hear about how task 2, how easy it is if you know what you're doing, and don't get caught in that. We had a lot that they hit the wall last semester. They just couldn't get through that, and that's what slowed them down for the rest of the semester. And so, looking at the feedback, looking at the data, I'm able to go into TaskStream and look at those kinds of things. And that was one of the things I picked up on, is that I've got to do a better job, or we've got to do a better job making sure that they understand what they're getting into.
Phyllis, the 4 classes that I am interning already have the link. So that's already been sent to them, and I thought I sent it to the instructors, but I'll make sure that y'all get it again. I will send it to Barbara and Jean. I'll send it to you tonight.
Well, I did get it. I didn't know whether I needed to forward that to them or whether.
Oh, okay. No, they already have it.
Okay, we'll be there then.
But I mean, if y'all want to remind them of it, any extra help probably wouldn't hurt.
Well, I have my session on Wednesday, so I will remind them on Wednesday.
Okay, thanks, Phyllis.
So we'll do that. We'll do a brief session with them, and specifically, we're there to talk about the OMA, about task 2, how to get through it so that they can get on to their proposed schedule. And I'm going to talk to them on the proposed schedule. They need a rationale. They need to start with federal law, then state law, local board policy, best practices, and then teacher input. That they need to stick to their rationale for any suggestions that they make in changing the state. They need to offer the rationale as to why. We get a lot of having to return back on that as well. That they just said, I want to do X, Y, and Z, but didn't say why they wanted, or didn't understand the ramifications of X, Y, and Z. So we'll do that. We'll make sure that they do that. So we're gonna hit the OMA, and I want them to hear it from me. Here are the tricks of the trade. Don't get stoned on this thing. Don't let it stop you. We can move on through it. And once they get through the OMA task 2, it's pretty much clear sailing after that. They either got it or they're not going to make it. And that kind of is the hurdle. And so we've got to kind of help them through that hurdle.
And my idea was, and I hadn't even asked Dale this, but I think he'll be okay, was that when we get through with the OMA, that we'll do this another time before when we start the skip with them.
Yeah.
And go through that and then go ahead and probably do the skip and let them know the first task of the CAP that they have to complete as well, and just do this again before the semester's over with.
Yeah. We're doing this intentional abandonment where we're pulling back away from them, but we want them to be supported. But I don't want them to get to 605 and expect the 605 instructors to have to hold their hand and walk them through everything. By the time they get to 605, I want them to be pretty much self-sufficient so they can start doing, I know that our 605 people are developing some really good activities and some case studies and things for them to do. But if they get to 605 and they can't work on their own independently, and they're pulling the instructor down and the coach down to try to help them all the time, and all they can focus on is their portfolio, then we've wasted the opportunity for them to do a lot of self-exploration in 605 of their own leadership style and do some self-awareness and self-assessment. But unfortunately, if they're struggling with their evidence artifacts still, we can't get to that part with them.
But they don't have but about 5 or 6 weeks to get all that evidence artifact work done in the summer.
And so, but if you can get them to kind of take the bit and become more self-sufficient, that gives us time in 605 to do some of those wonderful things with them.
Right.
That really adds value to this program and to their experience, and really adds value when it comes time for them trying to get a job. So we've already got one hired this semester. Did some work with her. First week of classes, did some work with her, and so she's already got hired. I sent some things and did some work with one this Friday, and so I think she had an interview today. So I mean, the spring season is the busiest season, and we really need to do a good job, with our 605s in 605. But just as importantly, we've really got to make sure that our critical time for 605 this summer is now with the 603s, because such a short period of time, as Danny was talking about. So we don't do this usually in the fall because they've got a full semester for 603 they've got full semester in the fall and got a full semester for 605 in the spring. But these that are going into the short session for 605 in the summer that are in 603 now, we've really got to make sure that they get going. They can't be I'd like to see, they got to be at the CAP before we get to summer or they won't finish. They've got to at least knock out one task of the CAP this semester. And the only way to get there is they can't take but 1 week on OMA Task 2, where they've been taking 2 and 3 and 4 weeks on. They don't have that time. They got to keep it moving. Got to keep the line moving. And, our success with getting folks through in the summer is now, not the summer. Too late by then. We know that. We had a really good last summer because we worked really hard last spring. And so it's spring again. It's just one of those things where we're just going to have to put a little extra effort in with the 603s to make sure they don't get stuck early on in the OMA and in the skip. And then, we'll have the opportunity to do a little classwork in the summer with them. That's my goal. I don't like it when they get to 605. What we can do is evidence artifact work. They miss a lot of good content that's going to help them, especially in the interview process.
Cool.
All right. Well, I'll send you the email. I'll post this thing. I see my time is now up. It's 7 o'clock. I appreciate you being online with me. Appreciate what you do for me and for students and the kind of comments that I get back from them and the ones from you. If you need me, just call me. I'm usually on the road somewhere or I'm in and out of places, but if I don't answer, I'll call you right back because usually means I'm on the other line. I do not have a voicemail box set up on my phone intentionally. So because I return calls and I don't like messages, I get too far behind with messages. So I'll call you back to call me, but let me know what's going on. Appreciate what you do. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Ghost, 2 weeks.
We'll see us Thursday.
Well, but we'll meet back with our faculty men. I don't think we have anything critical we need to meet about next. We'll plan for 2 weeks from today. We'll meet again with our faculty meeting, but I'll see y'all Thursday. We'll do the little 603 group on Thursday at 6 o'clock. I'll see y'all then. Everybody have a good week. Thank you.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.